Hey, Bestie.
Hi, bestie.
How
Can you
are
hear me?
you?
I'm
Yes, I
good.
can. Can
No
you hear
echo
me?
this perfectly. No echo this time.
None yet.
Okay, fingers crossed.
Yes, indeed. So, what are you up to this Saturday night?
Happy Saturday. I am hiding out from the kids. Hopefully they don't interrupt this time. Um, Having a
Oh,
glass of wine and, chatting with you. How are you?
nice. I'm good. Not bad. Same thing. Kids are, doing their thing. I'm having a glass of wine, and even if the kids interrupt, it's all good, Bestie.
Well, I hear them knocking already.
Oh, there you
Anyways,
go.
that took long, right?
Yeah, they did.
I'm gonna ignore them though. I'm gonna ignore
Yeah,
them. Unless you want to hold on for 1 second.
sure. Go for it.
Oh, they stopped.
Okay, great. All right. So,
And
Bestie, did you watch what I had told you to watch?
yes, so before we even start this episode, I have homework for our audience. If you have not watched this movie, I totally recommend that you watch. It's on Amazon Prime. And we're going to refer to it tonight to our topic. And Brenda, I don't know, do you want to give them the title? You want me to do it?
Sure. It's called in Spanish, La Pasión de Patricia, or Patricia's Pasión Escondida. You want to translate that?
Yeah, so it's Patricia, a Hidden Passion. I can't remember if there is subtitles. Um, I can't remember if there are English subtitles, but you can still watch. It's kind of easy to follow, but it is a spicy movie, and it brings us to our topic of tonight, which is friend or foe. Dun, dun,
Oh, yes.
dun.
Oh, yes. And what a perfect movie to describe that. I mean, girl, that's all I'm going to say. I
If I get
mean,
started, I ain't gonna stop. First of all, these women
yeah.
are hot. Like, and what I loved about the movie is not that they're your 20-year-old or even your 30. Like, these women are at least in their 40s and they are hot. All of them. I couldn't find like an ugly person in this movie full of beautiful
I,
people.
I, I am so in agreement with you. I was like, oh my God, if this is 40, I'm looking forward to it because I have to tell you, it was like, wow, this is how I want to look. Bestie, before we even give the audience an introduction, we already have we've had a comment. Do you want us to get to the comment and then we'll give them like the summary?
Sure, go ahead. Go ahead.
Sure.
Oh shoot. I forgot what I was gonna say. But having a best friend um usually turns into a worst enemy. So it's hard to have a good friend even when you have a really
Uh-oh, did
So,
they get cut
yeah.
off?
Yeah, he did, but he does have a point, in some cases. And we know, it can go both ways, right? You can get, lucky to have a best friend like I have a best friend, which is you, or, it can go pretty, sour. So I get it, my friend, but look, don't lose hope. There's a friend for everyone, and I don't want to sound like you know,
Corny.
uh corny because I
But it's
do, but at least I believe in it, right? He may have left another message because I have another ping. So 1 second, Bestie, let me grab that.
sure, go ahead.
sorry, my girlfriend called me. I had to go. I was cut off.
It's all
No
right,
worries,
friend.
Tender Cash. All
Girl,
good.
girl, girlfriend comes first always.
Yes, yes,
But he,
indeed.
he
So
he does have a point. This actually is totally related to the movie last night. I do have questions that I don't know if you can answer. I'm hoping there's a sequel, a prequel, something, right? Because it left me with that little itch. But it also made me think of, like you said, how lucky, I do feel at having you as my best friend because I know, you know,
mhm,
that would never happen. Yeah, but our
right.
listener did. does have a point. Like there are some friendships that do go sour really, really fast, and like he said, you know, they end up being your biggest enemy, unfortunately.
Agreed, 100%. You know, and it's kind of what we're gonna be talking. So, you know, friend, you are on track with what you're saying. It could definitely be a double-edged sword, and you may never even know about it, right? So, you
Hmm.
know, those are some of the things that are not, you know, they wouldn't be so good. But you know, back to the movie that we were talking about, you know, this movie is basically about, you know, this woman who
Oh,
trusts her friend.
there's gonna be spoilers, guys. Just so you know.
Yes, yes. So just so you know, so you know, she's in her 40s. She has everything going on. I'm telling you, you guys, like, I mean, I personally wish I had her body because God, it was banging. You know what I mean?
Oof, fire.
Yeah, total fire. And you know, this woman, she's sexy at night, and she wants to give it to her man. You know,
She's a
and the guy,
professional. She's a
yeah,
professional who, ironically, is she like a marriage counselor, a sex therapist, something along those lines is her
yeah,
profession.
she's like the whole package, right? And then, like, dude, right? But you know, okay, you know, you want to give it to your man doesn't want, you know, maybe he's tired, whatever. That's that
So
part.
this
Bestie,
this
you want
this
to go into the
jerk,
friends?
so this jerk is always tired for her, right? And then you look at him and you look at her, and I was kind of like, bro, count your blessings, right, to have a wife like that. But the irony of this is that for a living, she actually counsels couples about their marriage, their sex life, when herself, she knows that she's not getting the attention that she needs from her husband at home. And one of the parts that was interesting to me is when they ask her about her, like her marriage, and she stumbles, right? And that's the first hint that something's not going well. And then I don't know if you want to talk about that evil woman or if you want me to
Well,
talk about her.
well, you know, as we're going into the movie, like she's having a casual conversation, like Bestie, you and I would, and you know, the friend says to her, "Hey, you know, has it happened? Have you know? Have you had? Did you get some right?" In other words, and she's like, "No, you know," and you know, no, and I don't know. You know, he's always tired, and then the actual good friend, you know, the woman that we're talking about that, you know, doesn't get any.
Patricia.
Yeah, Patricia. What does Patricia tell her friend? What
So
does yeah?
so she
What does
asked,
she ask her?
what's the other girl's name? I can't remember her name right now. It totally slipped my
I
mind.
let's just call
But
her the friend.
the friend. So she asks her, "Are you still sleeping with with the married man?" And she's like, "Yeah, you know, like very coy, very like, yeah, you know, I am, girl." And it was interesting because Patricia tells her, like, you know, have you no self-love? Don't you love yourself enough that you think that it's okay for you to sleep with a married man? Like, whenever you're ready, I am willing to take you on as a patient, right? And we can work through it. So even through this point, she's still trying to be her friend, even though she's completely unaware of the situation, right? Um, so I thought that was like, boom, you at least let her have it. You know, you socked it to her basically, without you even being aware of the situation, because you can tell that that comment really hit the friend really hard. Like, you know, she doesn't have self-love. And then Brenda, what totally blew my mind was how long that relationship was going on. It wasn't a fling at all. Like,
Yeah.
Yes,
it was a full-on
yes,
relationship. Yeah,
exactly,
that's what the heifer
exactly.
was saying. That's what the husband was saying for
Yeah,
3 long years. So my
yeah.
question, I was wondering, were
Hmm.
they friends before that? Like, were
Well,
they
you know
friends
what?
before that? Were they friends like, did she do the bad friend do what she did after? Like,
Well, it wasn't revealed, which was there was a lot of mystery to this movie. It really wasn't revealed because if you realize that the at Patricia's 40th birthday, the friend wasn't there, but the
I
husband did show up, right?
jerk. Yeah.
But my thing is this, guys, like this was going on for a long time. Has anyone been
three
in this
years.
situation? Has anyone been in a situation where either your so-called friend, you know, Exactly. I mean,
I'm not
Bestie,
gonna
has that ever happened to you?
I'm not gonna front, not to that degree, but
Mm-hmm.
in my previous life, back in my young days, I have had friends who have gone out with people that I was interested, that they knew I was interested in,
Yeah.
and they still went for it. Like it was like no sister code, at that moment, and that gave me a lot of insight into, that I wondered the same thing. Like, one, were you really my friend? Two, what was the point of that? Three, did you have no self-love that you felt like that was okay? And those were some of the things that I've wondered. Like, and I think it's like, did you not love yourself enough that, you thought it was okay to still, flirt and then go out with this person that I showed interest in, right?
What would
And
what would be your first reaction if something, God forbid, like what happened to Patricia, would happen to you?
oh,
God forbid.
so here's my philosophy, right? If I find out that my partner has been unfaithful to me with a complete stranger, I'm coming for my partner. Like, I'm not going to waste time on fighting this other girl that I don't know, because at the end of the day, she has no loyalty to me, even if she knows about me. I'm so sick of and tired of seeing fights of people who have been unfaithful, and the person who was cheated on automatically goes to like the other person, even if it's a stranger. And I'm like, why? This person has no loyalty to you whatsoever. The person that you need to go for is your partner.
100%.
However, if I know you, you're both catching hands. You're both catching these hands. Because at the end of the day, how dare you? Like, how stupid do you see me in your eyes? You both have some sort of loyalty to me, right? If I know you, whether you're an acquaintance, whatever it is, you know about me. And if you decided to go ahead and cross that line, I'm coming for you. But the person that I'm really going to go for is my partner. Because it's, at the end of the day, your commitment was to me. And you crossed those lines. So now you gave me permission to, kick your ASSS.
Preach on.
Producer, I'm keeping it clean today. No curse words. But yeah, like,
No,
I'm
no, no.
coming for you. I'm
Look,
coming for you both, How about you?
well, listen, we're on the same page. I mean, I gotta tell you, the hurt would be double, right? Because it's almost like, you want to really f that person up, and stuff like that, and like how dare you? How the hell dare you? But the thing is, I would be angry both ways, but I agree with you. I do agree with you. You gotta come for your partner first, and then, if like to you, like, oh my God forbid, if it's a friend of mine, I think you covered it. Bestie, we have 2 messages. Let's go to that. You
Sure,
good
go
with
ahead.
that?
Absolutely.
I agree with Bestie 172. Let me tell you a quick story, guys. One time I was talking to this girl. She had me over her crib, and it was pretty funny. She didn't tell me she was still married, but she was separated from her man. Well, funny thing is, her man showed up when I was at the crib. Now, mind you, we didn't do nothing. That man wanted to throw hands. He wanted to get busy. I said, yo, bro, calm down, bro. I had to get the hell out of there before he would whoop my ass. Now, I'm not saying he would have whooped my ass, but a man thinking his wife just cheated on him, you catching hands, bro. So I got out there, got into my Honda Civic, and bazounced. Listen, loyalty is hard to find. And when you find that loyalty from a friend, that's when you have good people around you.
Well said, and I'm actually glad that our listeners mentioned that, because in the movie, there's, aside from Patricia and this girl's story, there's a couple other stories that are told within the movie, and one of the husbands actually finds out, and he completely loses his ish, right, and he wants to go after the guy. He doesn't, right? Because I think he's some sort of like law enforcement, whatever, but they give him a scare, if you will. But
Right.
like our listener said, he realized at the end, it wasn't worth it. But what
It
actually
wasn't worth
surprised
it.
me was that particular man He never
Mm-hmm.
like went to his wife. All he said was like, how could you, one, and two, why did you let him record you? So it kind of gave me vibes like they had some sort of an agreement that it was okay. It seemed like he was more
Right.
pissed off or PO'd that she recorded it, right? And like now
Right.
all his subordinates saw, and I guess they realized it was his
Well,
wife.
it was like, Tony Digger said right now, you know, he's right, and that's the thing. Listen, at the end of the day, these things can get out of hand. And, we've seen, movies or stories or whatever, where you see it doesn't end well. These stories are not good, right? So you have to be the adult and figure out what's best for you. So I agree with, Tony Digger and with Tony the Digger, and with D. Marinas, who just, left his note as well. You have to make that decision. And at the end of the day, you're not, raped, right? God forbid. There's consensuality here,
You made a
both ways.
choice.
And you made a choice. And I always said every single choice has a consequence.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm just in agreement, and this conversation is so deep because, we're talking about double hurt here, right? But what happens when this goes on and that friend that you think is a friend, your foe, you never find out about it? Because in summary, spoiler, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I was so annoyed with that. I was really annoyed with the movie that Patricia never found out, right? That was happening between her husband and her friend. And then I was kind of ticked off because he found out about her infidelity. So it was like a
Mm-hmm.
double loss to her. And yes, things ended great, which for me, that was also kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
But I was kind of annoyed because I'm like, how come, like, that's why I'm like, I need a sequel or something. Like, what happened to them?
Right.
Because it
Right.
also seems like she might have it wasn't the ending wasn't realistic because if this other woman was so insistent on calling him and like trying to get them to to get divorced,
Well, listen,
she would have told her, don't you think? Or like she would have the husband wasn't answering at towards one point, but she still had Patricia.
But
You know what I'm
bestie, I'm sorry to cut you off. How many people in this world are in they're at home? You don't know, right? So yes, it seemed unrealistic, right? Because okay, we're watching a movie, but you know how many people have these affairs? Not let's you want me to go far? Even with freaking family, and you never find out. And just think about it. Just think about it. When like my mentality is like, this guy went in this girl and now he's going into me, like just like that. Like, I'm sorry, I don't want a dude that's been in you. I
um,
just don't want a dude that has been into you.
so how does like all right. So this is another question that just came to my mind. How does one react? Like, is the right thing to do if, let's say, if the husband came on to this friend, which it doesn't seem to be that way. It seems like she had a plan. I think she's jealous of Patricia's life and she wanted it as her own. So she goes and she seduces the husband, right? But let's just say, playing devil's advocate, that she really is a good friend and the husband comes on to her.
Mm-hmm.
What's the right thing to do?
I mean, in a true friendship, right, you would think that, I think you and I mean, think about it. Remember when you and I were teenagers? You
Can I bring
remember that?
can I bring that up?
Oh, 100%.
So back in the day, Brenda was dating this jerk. And I remember we were going out somewhere. It might have been even her birthday to like make it even more disrespectful. And I was getting ready at her house. He was there, right? In her home, which to make the disrespect even bigger. And I think she was getting ready and a homeboy just out of nowhere, like started hitting on me. And I have never felt so uncomfortable in my entire life like I did at that moment. And honestly, I think I have an answer to my own question. It was a little uncomfortable, but I did not hesitate. I did not hesitate to go straight up to Brenda that night and say, hey,
Mm-hmm.
this is what happened, you know?
Yeah, and my point is, if 17-year-old Catherine was able to make that decision, forget it. X amount of years, Catherine would make the same, and that's where where your loyalty stand. Because as a friend, if you don't stop it from the beginning, it's going to happen. That is the signal. Yes, I'm okay with it, right? So at what point, viewers, do you feel, guys, if anyone has any more, to say, that would be great, where if this does happen to you, you speak up. Who is comfortable with speaking up and telling their friend, dude, this guy wants to put it in me?
That was my reaction too.
Yeah. Right. I mean,
but then can we talk about Patricia's husband? What a loser. Like,
what a loser.
So he goes looking at her like she is nothing. Mind
sorry,
you,
I think
this woman is
Patricia
hot.
I think so too, girl. I think
like
so
this
too.
woman was hot. And oh, I'm tired. Oh, I'm this, bloody, 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 the usual. As soon as she got her groove back, I was gonna text her and say, Stella got her groove back. It's like, as soon as that mofo realized that she had her groove back, she had that, that skip to her step, she was shiny, she gave two damns about him. He is all over her, like corny. Like he was so corny about the whole thing.
I think he's a loser in my book.
Like he's so corny. He like tries to miss out on her birthday to be with this other wench and God knows where. God. And then miraculously comes up to her party like, no, she's already with the younger hot guy who's rocking her world and handling your business. Because that's the only reason why she went with him, right? He didn't meet her needs. Like she said, I am a woman with needs, and you're just not meeting them for me. So, and I've told you and I've talked to you about it. So, I'm going to go do what I need to do. And even if there's no attachment, right?
Listen, who are we to judge, first of all, right? That's just going to be my mentality in 1 cent, right? But I'm
kind of judging the husband.
No, but you know what I mean? But here's where so I don't want to sound like I'm going back and forth or flopping on the topic. But you know what really got to me? Things happen, right? You make that decision, and once you make that decision, that's on you, right? But you know what got me? Because listen, there's tons of situations where blah, 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 did one thing, whatever. But what got to me is how the friend paid a guy to seduce Patricia in hopes that Patricia and her husband would break up.
That didn't even hurt me. She did her a favor. That marriage was going to go nowhere anyways. Whether she had met that guy, whether she had not met that guy, the way that the friend was going, dude, they were going to get divorced. You know what pissed me off? How comfortable they were talking about Patricia right before like doing the nasty.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
They were so comfortable. Like he had no, and screw the friend at this point, right? Like the husband felt so comfortable talking about his wife, the mother of his child, who was a grown man, but still. Right. It was like they felt so comfortable. Like it was double ridicule, right? Like they would talk about her and then they would sleep together. That to me was just like mind blowing. That's like bottom. I know, bottom.
But the joke was on the friend. The joke was on the friend. Whether movie, real life, but I gotta say though, I feel Patricia deserved the right to know that this was going, on. But Bestie, before we continue, because this is such a hot topic, I want to give shout outs to Morillo 809, Cool Cat 24, Tony the Tiger, Ninja 17, Sister Pond, D Marines,
what up, D Marines?
Yeah, El Parrandeo, Killer Cash, our first, message of the day, Jasmine X, thank you guys, we're just here having a good time, and, thank you, because, just leave your message, I mean, these are good topics.
Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, and, just leave your message, because, look, this is real life, and this is what's around us, and it's unfortunate that these things happen. But yeah, man, like,
ooh, can I post a question to our audience?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I'm asking the other side. Have you ever been that friend who's been attracted to your friend's significant other?
That's a good one.
And like we said, no judgment here. Like maybe, there is something to it that we don't know. There is, like you mentioned how there's a friend for everyone out there, right? There's probably a person for someone else. And who's to say that that's not my person who happens to be with you first, right? Like, life is funny that way, And I'm sure that's happened where, you meet or someone out there, I'm assuming, has
Yeah.
met their soulmate, and unfortunately it came through hurting someone else, right? That maybe they
Right.
knew, but
Yeah, and again, like, you know, it like I said, my judgment with the friend is more like the malicious intent. She was out to get
right.
her, bro,
Yep.
from day one, you know.
Which is
And
why I wonder, like, were they really friends, or were they, you know, like, how did that friendship come about? Did she meet the man first
it was
and
never
then try to make a
disclosed.
friends with her, or were they friends before? Because then that's skeevy to me, you know.
It was a mystery. It seemed like they were at yoga together. Like, who knows? But, you know, look, at the end of the day, it, you know, the action was wrong, but, you know, I stand beside this, and I think that Patricia should have given, in the movie, like she should have been giving a chance to know what was going on. But you know what? In real life, you just don't know. That's the other reality, you know. So, you know, I don't know.
I agree. I feel
I'm
like
gonna tell you
I feel
this.
like she was humiliated twice. She was humiliated by the husband and the friend, and then she was humiliated because the husband was the one that found out, right? So, and then he looked like he's the heartbroken one, and how dare you, yada 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 yada. But she never found out. She
Right,
suspected. She
right,
suspected, right? But she
right.
never knew the dirty secret. And worst of all, she didn't know who it was with, right? This
No,
woman.
she didn't. And Bestie, I'm gonna tell you, my message is, dude, you were in my friend. You were in my friend.
Stop. Y'all, I have a very vivid imagination.
Yes,
Stop.
D. Marinas was in that friend. D. Marinas, when he called earlier, he was in that friend.
Yeah.
You know, I know, super gross, but
Nah,
you
but
gotta look
sex
at
is
it.
good. Sex is good. Sex is good when done,
Yeah,
you know, when done the right, consensually, and when
yeah.
done, it's good.
Look, it's about choices. That, to me, that's the lesson learned with this, right? Choices, you know, you gotta own it, and you know that once you cross that line,
Woo.
either karma or someone's gonna get you, you know? That's it.
Word.
But own it, you know? Own it. Whatever the result is, own it, and that's all that matters, right? So,
Yeah,
you know,
that lady
anyway,
was desperate towards the end when homeboy wasn't picking up her phone calls anymore. She was
I
mad.
know. It was,
I was
oh,
like,
yeah, because they go
we need some
crazy.
sort of sequel or something, because I was like, she was borderline psycho,
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
at some point. Um,
Totally.
so
Yeah.
if no one has stories to share, like, what are some things that hint a fake friend? Like, how do you? Is there a way to kind of like, I don't know, like,
Hmm.
at one point do you realize, like, oof, this isn't what I think it is, right? Like, this person
I
is
mean,
not loyal to me. I don't feel this trust with this person anymore. Like, maybe they're not everything that they seem to portray and to be. Like, what are some things you think that are like
I
red
mean,
signs or flags?
I mean, look, it's hard, right? To, especially if, you know, you haven't had that situation in your life, right? But I always feel, right, like, if someone tries very hard to be your friend and there's no effort there, that could be a sign, right? And I'm just talking straight true friend or foe, right? I'm not even talking about, this situation is something else, right? Because
Yeah,
this
yeah, 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 yeah.
situation
I just
can
meant like in
happen with
general.
all the four stages, right?
Mm-hmm.
Acquaintance, peer friend, close friend, and best friend. So that's not what I'm talking about. I feel like with everything in life, there needs to be stages, right? And I think when you want to go so fast, when the person is asking questions, when things benefit the, you know, the other party and not you, when they don't have the best interest, then you got to make that determination, you know. That's yeah. What about you? What do you think?
Same thing. I mean, you know how I roll. You know, it takes me a really long time to warm up to people, but even more to share deep things about me, like
Mm-hmm.
personal stories. Like, I'm okay sharing some things, but there's some things that are, I keep, as loudmouth as I've said that I am before, I am an actually private, shy person, so I don't share a lot. Oh no.
Right.
Do you hear the background?
No, you're good. And if we
Oh,
did,
okay.
this is a family show. We're good.
Okay.
I
I
actually
started
miss
to worry.
hearing them.
No, I thought I heard an echo, so I was like, no, not again. Anyways, so like you were saying, like if someone is being borderline nosy, like they want to know all these things about me that maybe I don't feel comfortable sharing, that automatically for me is an eyebrow raise. But if being fully transparent here, sometimes I'm also not the best judge of
Right.
of character. Like there are times and moments where I've gotten caught up in the hype, right? And like, oh, this person's cool, blah 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 blah, and I catch myself sometimes like feeling really comfortable, and then we drift apart, or something happens that gives me that trigger.
Right.
But sometimes I am also not the best judge, and some people are really good at like faking the funk, and making you think that they're genuine and authentic when they aren't.
Right.
I feel like I'm older now too, so it's harder to do that, but definitely back in the day, like, there were some moments where I did get caught up, like, oh, this person's my friend, and, it
Right.
wasn't that way at all.
Right. I mean, listen, if anyone has actually, we have a message, so let's hear it.
Awesome.
You sound like a transgender little girl. I hit you with a car. You nasty.
Okay.
Shout out to whoever that was. You be blessed.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Alrighty then.
I'm definitely 100% all mujer. Every single inch of me is all woman. But I know, I hear you. I do have a deep voice, which I find rather sexy. But God bless, and no need to hit me with no car.
Listen, it's all good. We love everyone. It doesn't matter.
You be blessed.
You be blessed. But listen, all my message to whoever's listening is, take your time, make your right choices. Take it one day at a time, because you know what? I've had situations where it's a process, but I've had situations where I do have everyone has a foe in their life, right? That's the reality. But you have to decide how much you share, and that's that.
For me, it's just.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, for me, is just don't be an a-hole. If you have the hots for your friend's significant other, have some ovaries. If you're a woman, and if you're a man, have some balls and say, hey, this is what's up, right?
But bestie, there's tons of penises out there, tons of them, millions of them. That's just my, don't do that to yourself. Right?
I'm just saying, if you feel this strongly and this passionate about this person, then step up and speak before you
true
ruin and destroy 100%. Everything. But no, I agree with you. There's enough people in this world that we don't need to take spouses or partners or friends or whatever it is from other people.
Of course. So does anyone else have a message?
Shout out to that person again. We love you.
Woo-hoo! Hope you're having good wine like we are.
I give you lots of love, a big hug. You sound like you need a hug.
Yeah.
And actually, shout out to all my transgender folks out there. Love each and every one of you. I know how hard it can be in this cruel world. Definitely love my LGBTQ family. So know that we weren't bothered by that comment.
At all. Or ever.
Absolutely not. Or ever, but
or ever.
Shout out and love to you guys.
Listen,
too.
Yeah, 100%, 100%, bestie. So guys, if you are, listening to us, you can catch us at YouTube at The Besties, Instagram, The Besties _official_ Spotify, The Bestie -podcast. And I think, bestie, with that, I'm good with wrapping up today, unless you have anything else you want to
Girl, wait, my head just got big. We sound so legitimate with all these
I know.
Give out. Shout out to the producer for making sure all this stuff is happening.
Producer,
much
hit
love.
that button on YouTube, subscribe, like, whatever. Leave us a message like Tyler did. I don't care.
Tell your friends. Everything. We take everything. The good, the bad, the ugly. Like we said, it's all nothing but love.
Thank you for those that left messages like D Marinas, Killer Cash, our other friend, oh my God, we're right here, Bad Bleep 8. No worries there. We're not upset. Honeybee 33. You know, we're all happy. Tony the Tiger, thank you so much. And again, you know, if anyone, before we wrap up, if anyone wants to leave a message, good. Otherwise, bestie, say the line. You know the line.
Life is a journey,
but sweeter with the bestie.